better. So I actually don't know. I can't talk for Ryu. I know Ken loses. They both lose to Zelda.
Okay.
The thing is, like, on paper, they both lose, but Kazuya is Kazuya. So Kazuya is probably a little bit better. It also depends on the stage. Like, Ken on Battlefield is better versus Zelda, but obviously Kazuya on FD is better versus Zelda. So it's very stage dependent, which is kind of why I legit, like, even if I win with Ken, I will kind of pick if it's FD or Town or something like that. So it kind of just depends on the stage. But Carti only does play Ryu. At least I don't think I've ever seen him play Ken or Kazuya ever.
He always does Ryu.
Which is respectable. There's a lot more. So I feel like every Ken has a Ryu secondary, but no Ryu mains have like Ken secondaries.
Have a Ken, yeah. It's like that, was it square and a rectangle, square?
What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
I was about to say, come on, bro. I know you're young.
No, I know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about like a player. I was like, who was square and who was rectangle?
Oh my goodness.
Dude, I wasn't good with shapes back in elementary school.
Sure.
It was always a.
But okay, so here's my read on this like matchup, right?
What's your read on this matchup, man?
My read is that it's like it is difficult because not just because of the walling out that Zelda has, but because she has so many moves that are really good, but also multi-hits. So like your quote-unquote escape option, with focus, it doesn't really work that well.
The thing is, focus is good against. Focus isn't good for breaking out of combos, right? Because like even if it's not a multi-hit, it'll still combo anyways. Focus is good for one thing, and that's either a couple things. It's landing. For example, if you're laying on top of somebody, if they have like a big, like an Ike up air, you can just like down B through that, which you actually can kind of do with up B.
Right.
I mean, sorry, with up air from Zelda. The thing is, there's a weird property where like, so do you know how Ken and Ryu's down Bs work in terms of like the percentage thing?
Yes.
There's three levels for it, right? And it levels up each time for more percentage. So level 1, I'm pretty sure Zelda's up air actually breaks it. But level 2, it doesn't. And so there's a thing where, like, if you jump up and focus, she will just up her through you. But if you focus for, like, half a second before it, she will not up her through you. And,
really?
And that's the main thing for focus in this matchup is that on ledge against... And the same thing for Phantom, where, like, if you jump up and focus, it'll just go through Phantom. I mean, Phantom will just go through focus because it's too strong. Okay. Which is kind of the problem on ledge, right? Against most characters, you can kind of just, like, jump focus and get through any multi-hit. But you cannot do it against Zelda, which is why it's really hard and disadvantaged against her. But the one thing that's good in the matchup is that if you do end up jumping over Phantom, you can kind of just use down B, and Zelda has to go for an upper. And you either go through the upper or you just dodge it and then go back to neutral. And in neutral, it really isn't that bad of a matchup because you can kind of just jump on Zelda and then do this. The problem is that Ryu isn't as bad DI.
Yeah.
Ryu is not as good at getting in as Ken, and also his hits are kind of just not as strong. The one thing he says is he has the Shaku, and unironically, it's not just about the Shaku being good, it's about the Shaku essentially forming the rest of the gameplay because the fact that Shaku can essentially make people so scared that they have to approach is why Ryu is better. But Zelda doesn't have to because she has a reflector.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I feel like in this matchup, that doesn't really matter.
It doesn't, yeah.
Just between Knight and Reflector, it's like Shakunetsu, not that great.
It's not that great.
And you know what's crazy? Like, just as you were explaining that to me, Carti was actually doing really well. There was a point where he had the lead, and then he kind of just lost it.
Yeah. And that happens against Zelda especially because she's she's like, I don't know, she's low tier per se, but she's also extremely like explosive. Like she will just, especially Ray, he will just take a stock. And
okay, I think you had to play me and somebody else. You gotta hold it down, bro.
All right, I will. All right, say bye-bye to Van Jones. The commentary pool just got about 40 years younger. Van Jones is retiring commentary for now. He has to go play. Staying Ryu and Zelda, not surprised. Going to FD, Ray actually liked the stage a lot. He likes to pick it against me even as I go Kazuya, so he's definitely not very scared of Ryu on FD. And Ryu is good on FD, don't get me wrong. He doesn't get that much off platforms. He gets some, right? Some tech chases into up air short use, some tech chases into focuses. But the platforms do make it a little bit hard to actually get on top of Zelda, so I don't mind the FD pick. With that being said, though, Ray kind of, it's like a comfort stage. He doesn't mind the matchup at all on this stage, and Zelda is kind of terrifying because when you don't have things like platforms to jump onto, and you have a focus, and you have a Phantom in front of you, there isn't really an option. You kind of just have to hold the L and then just die. But Collarbone Breaker not breaking the shield, it doesn't break it to full health. You have to get about 1 or 2 down tilts in. Yeah, that's the problem, is that off stage, even though most characters can easily cover focus, can easily cover Shakunetsu. Can't cover Tatsumaki. The problem is that Zelda is extremely good at it. I can't talk. My bad. There's no English words. It's not my fault, Aloe. Aloe shaking his head at me as if. Sorry, I don't say hurricane kick. I'm not. Please do something other than those 2 moves. Okay. Sorry, they just did an entire cycle of jab to down tilt to jab to down tilt to jab to finally got boners. Oh, there we go. Okay, he got his ass whooped. Let's go. Good shit, Carti. Coming out with the collar breaker. I need to do that more. I don't do that enough. That thing's broken. I'm broken. Anyways, displaced Phantom, super scary, and yeah. You essentially have to just, it's kind of a 50-50 because if you go instantly with the Tatsu, you will just get side B by Zelda and die, but if you go low and she reads that, you also die because then you don't have a jump. Essentially both ways are kind of a death sentence off stage, but Carti with the fair. I like the fair instead of the Nair because the Nair might not have broken the Phantom. Oh, going for another one. It doesn't end shield breaking, but very close now. And oh no, see, in that situation, you just want to immediately jump. If you ever see, this is good for anybody. If you ever see Zelda immediately use a Phantom and you're kind of near her, just jump and hit her. You cannot be afraid of her because if you're afraid of her, then she essentially gets to set up Phantom and you die. You have to be really balls to the wall and just run at her. Also, a really good read there coming out, gets the upper Shoryu, and the game goes back to even stocks. The problem is, off stage, we have seen Carti die I don't think he's ever died on stage once. The jump, he should get back from that, but off stage, he's going to side B. No! Okay, good job holding it, but as you see here, like, even if you hold it, you put in a really bad spot, yeah. You have to neutral get it there, and you die. I mean, it was a really good set from Ray and Carti, but at the end of the day, it's just the advantage state from Zelda coming out is a little bit too strong for Ryu to handle. Good set overall. Waltz and Murr on stream. Back in the day,